Mm, this will take a few minutes. Okay, and here we are live. Welcome to Agile Beer USA. And we're going to have Rocio Brasino talk to us about social impact agile. So welcome, Rocio. Thank you for coming here, and Carlos and Anita, thank you for joining us. We're really happy that you showed up. Otherwise, it would be Rocio talking to me, which is great because we had a good 30-minute chat before we started. So awesome. So Rocio, I'm going to turn things over to you, and you can share your deck with us. So I'm going to stop sharing, and if you can take over, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, like good night or good morning. I don't know where are you watching us because we are live in YouTube, or good afternoon. But I want to say thank you to you because you invite me, and this is my second time in the Agile Beer like as a speaker, because I had like other opportunity as an attendant, and I love it. I love the concept, and I invite more people to come to join us, and
Awesome.
I feel really honored to be here sharing this social impact Agile that is kind of our movement that we are bringing to the world right now. About me, well, my name is Rocio Briseño. As Steve already mentioned to you, I am a consultant for international organizations and, of course, an agile coach. And I am located in Washington, D.C., but I am from Costa Rica. So pretty much I enjoy all the time working in rescue projects and working with them with Agile, and as well bringing courses and conferences when I come in my free time. I am a student at Harvard University about public leadership, and I am as well one of the global volunteers of PMI in the ethics area. I'm part of the ethics insight team, and I formerly was one of the reviewers for the new standard, the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. I am part as well of the core team of Heart of Agile, working with Alistair Coburn. And what you really mentioned, that is how to bring like better agile way to do the things to the communities and improving the world through agile pretty much. So I'm proud to be here, and let's talk what is this about, what is social impact agile. You can make any questions at any moment, it's not a problem. Let's have a good time. So social impact agile, as I mentioned to you, is a movement. We created that like several years ago, and finally we concreted like a gathering um, last year in Virginia, where we define like the commitments of the movement and what we want to achieve. And what we want to achieve is make a difference, pretty much. Is make a difference using Agile to improve people's quality of life. So, what is this about social impact? Social impact project is not just making a project outside of technology. It's making a project that really change the quality of life or the way of life of a group of people, a population, or uh, change the trend of being in one way to become to another way. I know one of the rules of Agile Beer is not talking about politics, but sometimes social impact projects has to be related to politics because it's about like improving the population. So we have to deal with topics like poverty, topics like access to resources like water, like internet, like education, like health. Those kind of projects are projects that are related to social impact, as well as technology, but in the way that you enable others to improve their lives. I mean, like when you are promoting the entrepreneurship, enabling like the economy reactivation. Right now that we are talking about a crisis, that is social impact project because you are changing the trend of people to stay in the poverty or not having access to several stuff and improving their kind of life. So that is a social impact project, and we care about the people. People matters pretty much. So why agile? Well, because these projects are normally really ambiguous. They have the money sometimes, but that money could come from government or could come from people that just are like bringing support or donations or several other ways, but it's really fast the time frame that you have that money to create a real impact because the stakeholders change really fast. So here, to deliver value like constantly and fast is really important because you keep the people engaged if they see the value in short periods of time. So our goal is bring the value as fast as possible to improve the quality of life of the people and showing that this project or the effort that we are doing is like valuable to continue, is worthy to continue to keep having the resources to improve the quality of life. So here, when we talk about the goal and the measures, in this kind of projects, people measure a lot if it is worthy to do it. So we have to use OKRs to measure what is important. And for that, we use statistics. We use like, there are formal ways as well to use mathematics in order to measure the trend and the impact of a project. So in that, there are too many like theory behind. Personally, I like to use the UNICEF papers to train people on how to measure this kind of impact in these projects. Even with Agile, of course, and we could measure and demonstrate like mathematically the impact in a population. In social impact agile, we have 5 commitments, as I mentioned to you. The first one is clear and shared objectives. We have several groups of people that are involved in this kind of projects. Sometimes could be even communication media, could be channels, could be journalists, could be as well the people that receive the project, the population. Could be people against that project as well. Could be politicians, like one side of one trend of politic like point of view, and the other side, maybe in a country, or could be too many. Could be even the private sector. Could be like people in an association that wants to improve the quality of life or something. So we have to have a clear objective that we share, all of us. We accept and we know and we understand that everyone, every side has their own agenda. And that is something that is true. But there must be at least one objective that we could all share together. So it's really important, like when we start these kind of projects, to check what are the agendas, the hidden agendas of the people, and to align that as well with the common objective. And even sometimes we have to help them as well to have their own objective, their own agendas, and they accomplish what they want to buy in the support of them for the project. The beneficiaries or the people that receive the project, they receive the final result and receive the small deliverable valuable increments, they have to be involved all the time. I mean, it's really important to have the people involved all the time because sometimes these kind of projects are designed like in a top high level place, but they don't consider the context and the reality of the people who receives that. Mm, let's talk about an example. There is a population that has like problems with the sanitization at the bedrooms. So in that population, government says, okay, let's build like public bathrooms, more public bathrooms. You build the public bathrooms, but the population still make their needs outside the bedroom, because the main problem was not about the infrastructure, was about the education and culture. So you have to understand the people who will receive the project, who will receive like the result of the project, and the people who will receive like the final end or the small deliverables as well, and to have them involved to know like the kind of solution is the real solution and you really will have value. In this case that I mentioned to you, that is something that really happened in a real life. That is a totally failure project. I mean, if you measure that like in a traditional way of measuring projects, you will say, yeah, was on time with the budget and with the scope, but it's a totally failure because you didn't have like the key important person, the value person involved during the whole project. So that is why we use Agile, because we understand that, because with Agile you receive the feedback constantly and you have the people, the right people since the beginning. And if the people change, you as well are able to be flexible and change and adapt yourself and adapt the team to keep continue bringing value. So the other commitment that we have is the team must have a social passion. I mean, this is kind of difficult to explain, but must be people that really cares about others. It's not like if you talk to someone that person just don't care, uh, that person can be in this kind of projects. Must be people that has a heart that is like moving their blood about the social kind of projects, and people that really cares about others and about improving and having a better world. So if you just see someone that is just like by himself, well, must not be part of this team of or kind of people, or must not be definitely part of the movement of CII. The other commitment that we have is transparency. And this comes, of course, in Agile um, speaking, we have transparency everywhere, and people talk about transparency in several other trends and frameworks and methods. Even Scrum talks about transparency. But this is really important here as well, because we are talking about doing projects for the people with resources that comes from others as well. And there are regulations, there are laws, there are things that are involved in the way that you have to accomplish. So ethics and transparency are part of this, and is one of the pillars in order to make a social impact project, to have the transparency. And well, I already mentioned this, but having frequent and visible results, of course, because we don't know when the situations are going to change, and or if the ambiguity is everywhere. These are projects that are really challenging, so we have to deliver as soon as we can and to measure and receive feedback. So basically, if you obviously if you want more information, you could go to cagile.com, and even if you want to join us, you are more than welcome to join us. You just send an email, and we are constructing like the database of knowledge right now. We have people from several points of the world. I mean, we have people even in Myanmar, we have people in the United States, we have people in Latin America, but we are still like starting to grow this movement. So everybody's welcome to join us because everybody could do something to improve the world. Um, okay, some common errors. Well, I already mentioned like in this kind of projects, there are too many things that are details that could become a huge problems. If we are talking like a small projects, maybe small projects will have problems or raising the funds because small projects are sometimes like looking how to, I mean, could be mentioned something, rescue animals, could be something, global warming, like having reforestation. That could be just a small effort or could be huge effort. But normally with the small efforts that are making it just for volunteering people, they have some issues about the raising funds or having the energy of the people or getting the time to do the things. And when we talk about huge projects, we have as well other kind of problems like corruption involved, like bureaucracy, like regulations that make the projects go slow. So in C Agile, we try to do what we can do using Agile in the key areas to have quick interventions and try to improve like the project execution. We don't try to change like the total reality of maybe a 4-year project that is like approved in a government, but we know we could make several small interventions in that project to have agile in several parts and deliver value faster and deliver value to the people and to make the difference with the small things, but several small things will construct something that is huge and big. These are some of the related organizations that make as well social projects. So there are too many around the world, and we try to embrace them and to help them to accomplish better results in their projects. About the results that I already mentioned to you, we don't say like we're against a way of doing projects. We know and we accept the left side that is like the traditional, even though we are in the right side that is like the agile part of doing the things. But we know we need a combination to have the results because these kind of projects are really complex, involve like several areas, several industries. So we know we try to make like the right combination to bring results. That is what matters at the end to improve the life of the people. And as well, we see the ethic, even though we have our code of ethics from CIJ, the ethics have several sides according to the society in which the project is related. I mean, something could be well accepted here in the United States, but not accepted like in Germany, or could be different in Africa, or could be different even in Australia. So, and as well between the companies, we have to see like what is the situation in every place and what is like the right thing to do. So we have like the principles and the code of ethics for us, what is like tolerable, and there are other things that are just not acceptable. So we try to work on this on the teams that we go to see, okay, we are going to help you or to improve this project or to try to train you or doing what we consider is the best for you, but you have to commit with this code of ethics first before we go to CIJ. Okay, so pretty much that's it. The what we have from social impact agile. I didn't want to like to put like full stuff because I want to have like a conversation with you guys.
Awesome.
And I normally close my conferences with this phrase that is let's work with love because it's the most powerful force in the universe.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much, Rocio. That was very informative. So, Carlos or Anita, do you have any questions for Rocio?
Oh, I have a lot. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can hear you. I can, anyways.
Okay, good. So, Rosia, thank you so much for sharing. And my first question is, how many people do you have in this organization or in the movement, and what countries of the, in the world?
Right now, we are few. We are in several countries, but we are few. We are just about like 12 people that are connected.
Hmm.
And pretty much we have three of them in United States and the others are in other areas. We have like two in Latin America. One is in Argentina, the other one is in Costa Rica. And next month, I have an event in Colombia, and I hope more people from Colombia join. We have one in England that is starting to, and one in Myanmar, that is Asia, and pretty much. And we have one in Brussels as well. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned 12, but pretty much those are.
Mhm. Okay, awesome. So yeah, you're all over the world. Okay.
Well, I will say like if we have like people in China, in Russia, like in other areas, but we are few, but we are moving this really fast. So,
You're expanding. Okay.
mhm. And Alistair as well has like a huge like connections. So he's moving. I am sharing this, but he as well from his side, he's moving as well, like a lot.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And okay, thank you so much. My other question is, can you tell us about a project, either successful or unsuccessful, that had some, you know, lesson learned in terms of how it started, what it ended up being, how it impacted the community?
Yeah, well, the most recently project that we have done is about the homeschooling with this COVID because yeah, because and with kids like ours between 7 and 8 years old, and because this COVID situation forced everybody to become a teacher in their homes, but no, that doesn't mean that you are prepared to be a teacher. It's tough, it's tough, and as well the schools were not prepared to, like, I mean, in some countries they don't have enough internet or bandwidth, or people are not doesn't have like enough devices, or they have like three kids or more than one kid, and it's kind of tough to handle like the time of the people that are the parents helping one kid in one topic, and at the same time there is the other kid with another topic, and maybe they just have just one laptop, and as well the parent has to be
Hmm.
working remotely.
Hmm.
So we were making a small guide checklist about how to measure or to assess the the best way to start the homeschooling, to help the schools to like figure it out, the conditions of every home, in order to bring them the support that they need.
Hmm.
Sometimes the support could be bringing the things even over social media, because there are some plans that are prepaid that have like unlimited access to Facebook or to WhatsApp or to other kind of social media,
Hmm.
so they don't get charged in the same way that if they go to a portal in the school and having the classes like in real time. So that is part of the things that we have like discovered during this project that were good. Other were just like, well, print the material and deliver a book of the
Hmm.
course,
Hmm.
because there is no way, there is no internet, there are no devices. So we will
Hmm.
make like we use in the old times with remote uh, education, and helping as well the people that are like experts in remote education to understand how they could help as well the schools in the preparation to the teachers and to the people that needs to help uh, for homeschooling for the parents as well. So this project was like took us like 4 months, but it was really successful pretty much. And we're still like in the iterations to improve and to expand that to make like a scale, because it was like a small project that we want to scale in other areas.
Right. Very relevant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID is not over yet, so
Mhm.
We continue with this.
there,
Yeah.
there's room for expansion for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
So
And
Carlos, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anita.
let me just ask you one thing. How did you measure the success of that project? Like you said, you want to deliver fast results iteratively. So what did you do in this case?
Well, we use a method that is called RCT. That is a statistic way of measuring when you apply an intervention in a policy. So with the RCT, we define a group in just one single school. We define a group of people that will receive the guide, and another group that didn't receive the guide. So we measure the progress of the kids. There was like quite similar kids from 7 to 8 years old in the same level. And we just measure that with the spelling and writing and with math. So to see if the grades of the kids in those four months were different between one group and the other group. And later on, we got our conclusions. So our conclusion was, yeah, the kids who received the guide in this school have a better performance than the other kids that didn't receive the guide in the school. So in that way, we did the same like the next round with the other group of kids to measure as well. And we are right now in this second round.
Mhm.
Did
Awesome.
did,
Thank
did
you,
you
Rocio.
measure the involvement of the parents, because that has a lot to do with their learning?
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just the guide and not having a guide.
Mhm.
It's how involved were the parents in their child's education.
What surprised us, well, we make these experiments in Costa Rica. Of course, I'm from Costa Rica, so I had the connections to do that. Is that the majority of the cases were the grandparents, the ones who were helping the
Mhm.
kids. So we were measuring at the beginning, we were like thinking about the parents and about the if they have an older like brother or sister. But we realized that pretty much what is happening over there in this location specifically is
Yeah.
that the grandparents are the ones
Right.
who are
Yeah.
taking that labor.
Yeah. And that's demographically correct. I mean, it's because, and it's not just, Latin American countries too. It's based on demographics and culture and background in the United States, because
Mhm,
there are certain cultures in the US that the grandparents do that.
mhm, mhm.
And other cultures in the US, the parents do that. And other cultures where they're just not involved. Unfortunately, it's like, no, that's what we pay our teachers for.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was curious about that.
But we have work as well in other projects like me. We apply as well Agile in the Colombia Army
Hmm.
for one of the workshops as well in the redefinition of the strategy. And the Army is like something that impacts because it's security around a country. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have several other examples.
awesome, great. Carlos, do you have some questions?
I
You've
had a
been,
question regarding how do you guys are developing the projects across the world? I mean, is it asynchronous or how are you guys doing it?
We're not developing the projects. We are just like making a small intervention in a project that is already to try to help and to improve the situation
okay.
using Agile.
Okay. Oh, okay. So these
Mhm,
are projects that are already started, and then
mhm.
you offer your assistance to help them improve their process, to improve the way they're working, and maybe accomplish things quicker.
or the people that is related or listen about CIL, they say, well, we want to use this, how we use that. So I
Right.
just like bring the people the tools, and or as well the other people that I already mentioned, they bring to the guys that want to make the intervention, the tools, the training, and they go and they go hands off in the project.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So do you
Have you
go in, excuse me, do you go in as consultants or, and you advise them and then you leave, or do you actually
It,
embed yourself into the projects?
it depends. It
Mhm.
depends. I mean, like sometimes there are people that just want, they are just curious and they want to start. Like they ask me a lot about this, about how I measure. I
Right.
mean, like last month I bring like a small training to a organization that they are scientifics and they research about when someone is murdered, when someone kills another person. They have the
Hmm.
evidence and they make the whole research about that like screaming crime.
Hmm.
And but they are scientifics and they want to become more agile,
Hmm.
because they said the whole investigation takes like 1 year and we have to reduce that time.
Right.
So in that way we have to like having the meetings, the conversations with the people. They were
Hmm.
scientifics, they were not like totally agile related.
Hmm.
So they have to understand about how to use agile and as well how to measure the impact in order to demonstrate
Hmm.
to the
Hmm.
top level government
Hmm.
that they need to improve their
Hmm.
methods and their way to their their way to do the things.
Okay. And
So in,
what do you charge for your services?
well, it depends. Sometimes if they want the consultancy and the training, well, I will make like the quote according to the project.
Hmm.
And sometimes there are other that are just part of the movement and of the community, that those are for free.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
Because the thing here is like being, of course, being sustainable, because we're not like millionaires.
Hmm.
But as well the thing is to have an
Hmm.
improvement
Okay.
and
Right.
an impact.
You're not a nonprofit organization then, because
No,
you
the,
do charge some people.
yeah, the movement part, the movement and the communities part that are helping, that is non-profit. But
Hmm.
if you want the consultancy specifically, that is not for non-profit.
Hmm. Okay.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Any more questions?
I just wanted to add that the COVID case would be a good one to scale across the world. Like you have, I'll call them representative in those those locations. You know, if you could take what you did in Costa Rica and apply it to use it in other countries for the
Mhm.
benefit of the world. In this specific situation, scaling would
Mhm.
Yeah,
would be
Mhm.
very nice
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
have other communities across the globe.
more
Mhm.
than glad to share
Mhm.
with anyone that is interested.
Mhm.
As I mentioned, the people that join to the movement is not for is for free. The movement is not for profit. Just if the people want to like have a certification showing that they really know, and like
Mhm.
ensuring that we are like training by CIJ, that
Okay.
has a cost, of course.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
joining the movement and being part of spreading the how we use the things and the 5 commitments and the like the material, that is for free.
Okay. Awesome. Fantastic.
Mhm.
Any more questions? Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and end the live stream and go into the second part of our Agile Beer. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, thank you very much. We hope you got as much out of it as we did. And we look forward to